It's not something that we often talk about, nor encourage other people to talk about.
It's important that we respect different narratives, different stories.
Both our living and dying can be a gift to others. We prepare like 9 months for the birth of a child, and so much goes into it, but yet we don't prepare for death and dying.
So we're really talking about what are the value systems that we hold to make our life dignified, to make our dying a dignified process. This second time round, we have decided that we wanted to work with the community, as in to place the conversation right in the center of a public space where people come and go, and you really don't know who will come. So the artwork then has to appeal on different levels.
And the way we present the sort of ideas is meant to be in an engaging manner. It's about the sharing of stories. And to that end, we also have volunteer facilitators on site to engage the public in the sharing of stories. Also, they can bring their questions, their queries, they're here to look for resources. But I think a very big part is just normalizing conversations about living with dying.
So that's why in terms of programming, we actually choose different kind of approach, from simple talks to thought-provoking kind of installation, to performances that appeal to the senses, to their emotions, as well as interactions that require them to reflect and put them into actions. Mommy, 让 Daddy 走。
你讲什么？你Daddy还可以有很多好日子过的，你叫我放弃？
妈咪，
他这么努力工作，就是为了让你有书读。
如果你可以取代一个角色，你会取代谁？
他第二次脑充血的时候。
好，第二次。
那就是我们就好好把握这最后的几天跟爸爸相处的时间。
The forum theatre piece. Every night as we're watching it, we experience it anew with the audience, because with each new audience, there's new participation, there's new way of interactions. It just reaffirms that idea that it's okay to hear that people would make different decisions. It's okay for us to disagree, it's okay for us to say, that chimes in with my experience, but just giving that space to each other to say, okay, I understand where you come from.
Actually, while watching it, I do feel some emotion coming out. That's very close to my heart because I experienced something similar when I was 16 years old. I just wanted to intervene because I wanted to show that there are many more possibilities of dealing with this very difficult question. It is difficult for everyone. Doesn't matter whether you're an adult or a child. And the only way to make it less difficult is to be open. And I feel that in this situation, adults should have the emotional maturity to take care of the young ones and prepare them.
I believe that many of us don't really know how to handle when it occurs. And that really got us into serious thinking. Even if we don't have the solutions now, we will go back and really start talking to people that we love.
We have a series called Dialogues, and that's part of the whole immersive arts experience. And Dialogues is where we invite guest speakers from different walks of life, from different professions, to come and share stories and experiences to do with end of life. And that is to really enable the public also to ask questions they have. So for example, we have palliative care nurses and doctors, we have lawyers to talk about legal issues, we have medical social workers, and so they will bring their different experiences and perspectives.
I think the main thing for me is to recognize that there's so much interest in wanting to approach this subject. Even from people you think are most likely to walk away and stay away, there is an openness, a growing openness. And I think that comes out of an aging society, urban society, and a society where the family unit is slowly dissolving. And as a result, what it means to have loved ones, what it means to talk to family is changing. It's not necessarily your relatives it can be your friends, it can be the doctor and the nurse, the social worker. So people are redefining that for themselves, and that I think is a very important thing for me to think about as an individual, but also to realize that this is what the community is going through.
The film that we created for both sides now is one that's titled Time of Our Lives, and for this piece the question we're asking is, how do you measure life? Is it in minutes or is it in memories? And one of the intentions of doing the piece as it is, it's a piece that's made out of extreme close-ups and in slow motion. I think just to inspire that kind of freshness in seeing our bodies as they age, because as soon as you're born, you know you will die, right? But how do you encounter it with a fresh perspective? So that's how we designed the film, and we hope we could do that.
希望不是什么事，什么什么事，希望不是 cancer 之类的。哎呀，是山讲啦，胃疼了吗？这什么这了啊？
这里有那么多人，我相信一定会有人照顾我的。
We spend a lot of time actually brainstorming how the activity should be like. We know what we want to ask, we know what we want to achieve, but finding the aesthetic form so that it is not just informative, it doesn't dumb down, but the aesthetic actually inspire imagination. And so that is our biggest challenge. An artwork that is simple to access but inspire a lot of imagination.
Quite a few illustrations all around with regards to the theme of death. So we had characters from all walks of life. What we hope to achieve with all these characters is actually to let the people relate easily to them. Yeah, very hand-drawn, very sketchy kind of feel, such that even a child can mimic all these drawings.
Then the other artwork that has made a really great impact is My Message to Death. That is where we have 2 photo booths and the public can go and take their photo holding a message that they want to write to death. So if death were a person, what would you say to death? And we've had such interesting responses from children all the way to seniors, some very personal, often humorous even, and some very, very reflective also.
This installation, we call it Life Journeys. People come on and they're asked to write down the highs and lows of their lives, and with that we ask them to connect, again, these dots with a thread. And when you take a step back, you see there's this wonderful tapestry that just organically kind of became, interwoven.
I just reached a significant milestone recently, which was turned 50. So I know I'm on the second part of my life for sure. And this seems to be like, the second lap, make it count, because the years are now, it won't go on forever, or it won't seem to go on forever. So yeah, it makes me think about my life more intensely.
I think the artworks like A Life Remembered gets people to put down concretely a particular idea they have about their life in relation to death. The other thing that is interesting is when people are either colouring a coffin or making a pinwheel or just sitting in the coffee shop listening to the voiceover. They have to choose to do it for it to happen. If they don't pick up the colour pen and colour the coffin, it doesn't happen. So I think that kind of action means that, okay, you're having fun, it's playful, it's creative, it's imaginative, but you are somewhere processing the ideas at the same time.
I've come to realize that end-of-life issues are actually very important and very important social issues that need to be discussed. Many of them are very elderly people and they don't really have many people to talk to. So when I come into the environment and I don't really have to probe them much, but they come up to me and they give me their stories, and that's very heartening.
During the volunteer training, I personally had a revelation as well. So the whole activity was about talking about dying, but I realized it was really about living. Because when you have planned how you want to die, how you want to leave a legacy, you would then decide how you want to conduct your relationships, how you want to conduct the way you live your life. Every minute count, every day count, and yeah, the things that you want to really prioritize really shifted.
Both Sides Now is really a project about human dignity, using the arts to create that kind of space and experience. It's a project about compassion, about respecting the relationships in our lives. It's about love. If you love the people around you, then it's creating that meaningful experience for everyone, not just for yourself, but the ones you love. Both our living and dying can be a gift to others.